and welcome back to Fairview Farm. It is August the 21st and I have just finished cutting the home farm field. We're now heading into the little meadow at the top here to get that cut as well. Both of these fields I am looking to turn into silage today, so we're going to be getting the windrower out and getting both of these rowed out. The small meadow here, as its name suggests, is a small meadow sitting at the top of this field up here. It's quite a good little field. This is probably one that I'm thinking of turning into an arable field on the farm, simply because unlike the rest of the fields, it is very flat, not very bumpy. Well, I say flat insofar as it's not got many bumps to it. So as a result, it's an easier field for me to do that with. The other two fields very much are very hilly and have lots of bumps and sort of undulate a lot, so are quite difficult to convert across. Whereas this would make a good little arable field, so we might get the equipment up here this year and get this converted and give ourselves two nice large grass fields and two fairly decent arable fields as well, and go from there. The mowing has been going quite well on the other field. It worked pretty brilliantly, actually. Whoa, I think I got stuck under my hedge a little bit there. Yeah. Get that back down and this lined up. But yeah, the mowing on the other field has been going quite well. We got that field done fairly easily without too much hassle, and I don't think it's going to take me very long to knock this out. As we spent a lot of the last vlog doing mowing, I just wanted to sort of show off these two fields before we got started on doing the rowing up. Let's get this pulled across, and so we were we'll be able to turn around and get the windrowing on here going fairly quickly today, I think, and as a result be able to get the forage wagon out as well. I do not want to leave this grass out too long in the sun. We want to keep as much moisture in it as possible, really, so that we can make some good forage out of it. Otherwise, our moisture levels are going to drop too low, and we're going to end up with hay here instead of grass. Speaking of which, our hay in the other field, the main field, the other side of the farm, that is drying pretty nicely. I think it'll be another couple of days, and then we'll be able to row that up and get that baled. So that will probably be what I end up doing in my next vlog. And we'll get the straw rowed up and baled around the same time, so that we end the month with everything cut and ready to go into September in a very good position. This field is quite a quick one to get done. We just basically go around the ends until we've got nothing left. We do tend to get left with this triangle at the end, which is fairly quick to finish up, and then I can go and get the windrower and get this all finished. Yeah, look at that. Very quick to sort of spin around and get this field done, and I'm quite happy with that. We'll reverse this up and just get that those last couple of little tufts. Because I'm going over this with the windrower, I'm not too worried about it lining everything up. That's worked very nicely though. So turn that off, fold it all up, and we'll head over here. I did have a comment on my last vlog about jumping out of the tractor while the PTO's on. Yes, not the safest thing to do, but as long as I'm going nowhere near here, I should be all right. Opening and closing gates, that should be fine. But you are right, safety wise, I don't want to be going anywhere near that while that PTO is spinning. It is a very dangerous thing to be doing, and farm safety absolutely should be a priority. Don't go anywhere near a spinning PTO. Once we got all of our summer work out of the way here on the farm, we're going to turn our attention to clearing things up and getting ready to demolish that barn. Things seem to be progressing fairly well. We're waiting to hear back at the moment. Either way I look at it, though, we want to be clearing up a lot of the rubbish that we have around here. So I'm going to be looking towards getting hold of a couple of skips to clear all of this up. We've got a whole load of just general rubble around the farm anyway. And we've got all of that rubbish that I showed you in the other shed. So there's lots of stuff that needs clearing up around here and getting rid of. So we'll get rid of all of that. Let's lower this down completely, and then I can disconnect it. There we are. And then we want to go and hook up to the windrower at the other end over here. So this, as I said, is one of my newer purchases on the farm. It is pretty big, but it just helps me get through this job a lot quicker, rather than sort of two single sets of or a single set of combs. So we'll take this back out to the field, and we'll start getting to work on that. This tractor more than capable of handling this, so I am quite happy to be able to go round and get everything rode up just that little bit quicker. Access to these two fields has always been a little bit of a weird one on the farm. You can't access them from the yards directly. You have to come out on the main road here. We've then got a gateway in, which is quite a wide one, actually. One of the wider gates on the farm, which is good because it makes it easier to get into. I need to hug the right-hand side, get as close to there as possible. And then we should be able to get everything through without an issue. Perfect. And now we can get all of this road up. Close the gate back. And unfold my windrower. There we are. And get ourselves into a decent position. Turn it on. Drop it down. And the great thing about this is that this will take 2 rows and combine them into one, meaning that it should be a little bit quicker for us to actually collect stuff up. Strictly speaking, it probably isn't, because we're taking 2 rows and doing a single combination out of them. If I was using a single comb, we might actually be able to get 3 rows into one. But I just like making things simpler for us getting around with the forage harvester. It just means that things just work a little bit better for us. But yeah, you don't get an awful lot of time back if you're just combining 2 rows into a single row. Windrowing is much more useful when we've treated the grass. So when we've done the tedding for the hay and spread the hay out, much more useful for us to do that. I'm doing it more here because I want to try and clear things up, make some neat rows for us to be able to work with. We've got a few patches where there are like 3 row bits that we'll be able to combine into one here. So it just neatens everything up, makes it all easier for us to handle with the forage harvester when we come to do that in a bit. And as a result, I'm much more able to work out exactly what I've got where on the field, and how I can easily just bring it together. The one thing that I will say is, or as I pointed out before, is that this does toss the grass a little bit. Not so much as the tedder does, but it is enough to start drying it out just a small amount. So we want to try and keep the collection of this to be fairly quick after we've got it windrowed, because otherwise we are going to end up with drier grass than we want to make the forage from. I've got about halfway around the field, and looking at it, there's not really any further point in windrowing any more of this up. We are going to end up using a whole load of fuel that we'll just use anyway in using the forage harvester. So in order to not toss this too much and dry it out too much, I'm not going to go any further on here. What I am going to do, though, is go into the meadow and just run around the headlands a couple of times. For the same reason as I ran around the headlands on here, just to pull things away from the edge and simplify things a little bit. We don't really need to do more than that. It will allow us to really get everything done. We'll get that unfolding while we close the gate so that we can go around and get this started up. Yeah, the only reason for going around here would be to clear things up. But this field here, this is fairly simple and fairly easy. It does just need things pulling away from the edges a little bit and tidying up. We don't need to do much windrowing today for the silage. A lot more of that's going to need doing later on when we come to collect up the hay and possibly the straw, especially if we can pull more than 2 rows together at a time for the straw. And there we have it. That's 2 rows done around the headlands. We will turn that off, lift it and fold it. And while that's folding up, what we can do is open our gate again and get out of this field. And now I just need to go get the forage harvester and we can start collecting up this grass. So we'll hook this up to our forage wagon. Back her up carefully there. Hook that up there. And send the PTO through the couple of there because it connects up below. And then we should be able to, with all of that hooked up. So I've got a foldable top on this, and I'm not exactly sure as to why I can't get the top to come up at the moment. Maybe it's something that will come up as it's going. This is, again, a fairly new piece of equipment on the farm. I'm not too sure. It might end up just coming through the top of this. But it might not. We'll see what happens. If it doesn't, I'll have to take it down to the repair shop and try and figure out why. Maybe the hydraulics are gone on it or something. But certainly at the moment, it's acting a little bit strange for me. But we can't leave this. We need to absolutely get this running. And if it doesn't, then that's going to be a little bit concerning for me. We might have to see if we can get hold of a temporary one while we sort it out. It may just work fine and be okay, but I'm skeptical. This is not looking great at the moment. One advantage, of course, to using the windrow on the headlands like we have is it takes the rows away from the gates. So while we're doing this and going in and out of the field a lot, we're able to go and get everything. We're able to do it without having to open and close the gates all the time, which is really, really useful. How's that going? Turn off the PTO. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, it's loading in. I just don't know why the top isn't coming up. Maybe considering it's on the spring, there it might come up as we go. We'll have to see what happens. So with the top down, it looks like it forces it to hold less of the grass. So we want to try and open this up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. We'll drop this into the pit so that we can get things going a little bit later. Oh, I'm gonna have to go across my rows. Don't really want to do this. And then we'll take it to the workshop, see if there's a way we can adjust this. I'm guessing this is not something that I can do in cab. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to the manual and see why this isn't working as I was expecting. Before we do that though, I need to get what's in here into the silage clamp. We've got two ways of doing that. We can either load it from the back, or we can load it from the front here like this. When it's empty like this, I tend to like to reverse in this way and empty it here. Once we spread this out a bit, I tend to start loading from the back so that we can load on top. So let's get this unloading, and it'll just push it out the back. I want to reverse up a bit while it's doing. See if we can pile it a little bit higher. We'll get the David Brown in here later and sort of start spreading this out so that it's able to start being set at a point where it can be compacted and then covered. For now, though, I'm not going to worry too much about that. And what I'm going to do instead is we're just going to back this into here. I'm going to read the workshop manual quickly and see if I can work out what's gone wrong with my trailer. Okay, so I've been working here for a little while, and yeah, I needed to make some adjustments here and get it all folded out and everything. So we've now sorted that, and now that we have it fully extended, it should take a fair amount more of the grass for the silage. So that will speed the job up rather nicely. But yeah, it's not a case of getting it all hooked up and using the hydraulics to do it. There's actually some work that I needed to do with spanners to get it adjusted properly and get it fully folded out. It was in sort of well, it does work in that other configuration, but you know, that tends to be how it gets stored for winter. So we now have it all fully folded out, and it'll be working fine. Yeah, should really have read more up about that before I started using it. Second load into our silage clamp, and I'm going to be intrigued to see if this has held a lot more. It looks like a lot more in our trailer this time. I think we got a lot further around the field, so we'll just back this into here and see if this unloads a larger amount. So unload it, and I think it might. I think we're in for a larger pile of this. Let's have a look. Just back that off. Pull ourselves forward a little bit. Make sure that we're not getting raised off the ground by the pile. And yeah, look at that. That is a much bigger amount that we're getting off there. I had to get out this side of the tractor because we're right up against the wall there. But yeah, look at that. That's almost twice as much from just having this fully extended. That is a big difference. That's going to save us a lot of trips actually having that up and no longer folded in. So yeah, glad I took that into the workshop and worked that out. I think I mentioned it in my first vlog, but this is basically the bread and butter of the farm, the silage. Yes, we keep some of it back for feeding our cows as the year goes on, but most of it goes towards the BGA. We got a BGA not too far from here. We ferment all the silage here, and then it gets shipped down to the BGA around about November, December time, which is why we try and get our cuts in as early as we can for each, because the more that we can create, the better that we do of that each year. And this is why I'm trying to get this cut done now. If we can get another cut done in around November, we'll be able to get that fermented as well in the same amount and get that all done. I'm waiting for my automatic cutoff to kick in, because we've got quite a lot in here now. It does cut off quite nicely when the trailer reaches a full level. But I think that might be it. Yeah, was really. Will that engage? It will engage. I don't think, though, that it'll take up any more. Yeah, we're done. Let's back it up. Yeah, that is cutting out. So our automatic refill level is working, and we've got a nice full forage wagon. Wow, this field is giving us a good few trips. It's a lot of back and forth today. How much fuel have we got? Half a tank, so we should be all right. I think we'll be okay for most of the rest of the day with this. And we'll be able to get a decent amount of silage off after having a fairly bad start to the year without being able to get any in. As I was saying before, the silage side of things is the bit that really has been doing well for the last few years over this side of the farm. And my unfamiliarity with this piece of kit actually stems from the fact that earlier in the year, most of our silage making equipment gave up the ghost. We went to do our cut in the springtime, and our forage wagon died. That basically had it. Our mower went as well, and at the same time we were looking at the possibility of replacing our windrower, although that wasn't required for the no, it was. That was the thing. It was required for the silage at the time, because the mower we had was not did not have its own windrowing ability in it, like the one that we have now that creates these very nice tracks that we can pick up. So we ended up having to invest a whole load of cash in getting that stuff fixed and replaced. So that's why we've got a brand new mower on here. Well, I say brand new, it is a used mower. We've got this new forage wagon that, as you could see when I started today, I'm not completely familiar with, and that new large windrower that we ended up splashing out on, because we had to rebuild our silage operation in order to actually be able to make some money off it this year. I'm actually quite pleased with the way that everything's been working so far. And I think, looking at the age of our tedder, we'll probably look to replace that in the near future as well, because at the moment we are that is the oldest bit of kit on the farm, and is the most likely bit of kit to give up the ghost next. So the method I'm using to collect this up is I'm sort of doing every other row, but in a very roundabout way. So I take the second row in every time I come back up here, and that leaves a gap that I can then very easily and very quickly turn around in. So if I turn here and we take the second row in from this lot, that then means I've got a very quick and easy turnaround to the row out there, and just means that I'm able to not. It means I'm having to do a lot less maneuvering. I can just keep going and keep turning, and you get to the end of the field like this, and you end up then having a nice easy turn to get that last row, because you've still got that single row gap between things. It just speeds things up a little bit, makes things that little bit easier on you, and as a result you end up with a much cleaner and quicker run. Now this is, I think, our 5th load for today of this, and we're not quite there yet. So I'm gonna go in here and start taking the second row. I got my pickup lifted, so back up. We'll grab that little bit from the end there. Now, with where this is connected, the pickup on our forage wagon doesn't move very far, but it does move. It is a difference between it going over the stuff and not going over it, because even windrows, our rows aren't that high. And yeah, this is a method that seems to work pretty well for us. When we're starting a new section like this, the easiest way to do it is to take the second row, take the 4th row, and then that sets you up to start doing those turns. And basically we're taking every other row going up and down the field. So after this row, we'll skip the next row, and then we'll do the row after, and then we'll skip and do the row after. And then we're always trailing a little bit behind with going back up the field. Well, we'll take that row, then that row, then that row, then that row, and so on. Just makes things so easy to keep doing, and just makes the job much more of a breeze to do alternate rows that way. I'm on my final row of this field. We've had 5 full wagons at this unfolded 18.7 meters cubed volume, which is 18,700 liters, and I think we're full again. We've had one at 14,500 liters. Yeah, we're full again. So yeah, we're well over 100,000 liters off just this field. In fact, this will take us up to 126,700 liters in the silage clamp. That's a really, really good amount. As I said, this is very much where we make most of our money, and it going into the silage clamp like this with this much of it is absolutely fantastic. So we'll keep loading it in here now that we've just about got this field finished, and I've got one more field to do, just that little meadow up the top. I'm a little bit concerned because the 7610 has cut out on me a couple of times today while we've been doing this work. I think I'm going to have to get it into the workshop, see if I can work out what's ailing it, and keep it nice and in tip-top condition. Doesn't seem to be very worn at the moment, or have much damage to it otherwise. It's been running pretty smoothly the last few weeks. So we will give it a go. We are down to 1/4 of a tank, so I'm going to have to fill it up after today as well. Otherwise, we're not going to have enough fuel going forwards. But then all we've really got to do next time is get that the windrower out, start getting the hay all rowed up, and possibly the straw as well, so that we can start gathering that in. My biggest problem at the moment is I don't have anywhere to store it. With us emptying that shed, our storage space is very limited at the moment. So I'm going to have to see what we can do about maybe erecting some temporary storage somewhere to store our bales in while we remodel the farmyard to give us somewhere better to store them. This is still working okay though, and I think we're going to get at least another trailer full off here. That'll take us up to nearly 140,000 liters of grass or silage today, which is a very good thing. That makes me very happy. we'll be able to start getting the David Brown, compacting that down, and getting ready for the cut in the autumn. The last few rows on this field are a little bit fiddly to get because of the way we cut this, where we didn't do it all in the same line everywhere. We end up doing a lot of turning around and a lot of maneuvering to get it how we want. This would have been a good candidate actually for running the windrower over and just getting it into a form where it'd be easier for us to pick up. To be honest, it's not a massive problem. It's a smaller field, so it doesn't end up causing us a huge amount of headache to do it this way. But yeah, this is where running the windrower over the whole field would possibly have made a better difference, or alternatively just cutting it all in the same direction in the first place would have made more sense. I'm not too concerned though. We've got it cleared up fairly well. We're not going to get another full trailer off here. We have had another full trailer though, so yeah, we're looking at verging on 150,000 liters here off these two fields today, which is fantastic. That is not bad at all. We might be able to get this a little bit higher in future. Certainly when we get the agronomist in the next month or so, he's going to sample all of these fields, and we'll be able to more easily tailor everything to them as a result. But that has got this field finished. So time to head back to the yard and get the last of this tipped and see how we've done. So we'll back this in. I've managed to heap it up fairly well, and we're looking pretty good. Yeah, this has heaped up pretty well, and that's quite a large amount we got here. 150,000 liters, looking pretty good, especially once you stand on top of it and look at the size and amount of this. That's absolutely fantastic. So what I'm gonna have to do now is we are going to go and park this up. We'll put this in the barn beside, close that down, and yeah, we'll go get the David Brown and I can start spreading this out and get it ready for compacting. And we're going to be putting more on this in the next couple of months. We need to fill it a bit more before we go any further, and then yeah, it'll get picked up by the guys from the BGA and they'll take it down there to sell. Connect that all off, and we'll go park this. Actually, I'm going to go and park this by the workshop because I need to do some work on this tractor. Thankfully, the workshop is in the shed, so if we just pull this over here, we can work on this a bit later. And I'm going to jump in the David Brown, and we will head over and start moving some of this silage about. So yeah, that's where the rest of my day is going to be today. Not going to be overly interesting, I think, so we'll end the vlog here, which means that all that remains is for me to say
thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. Special thanks to all my patrons and channel members. Your support is invaluable in making these videos and helping the channel to grow. For more from Virtual Farmer, check out the links below, follow on Twitch to watch live, and for more videos, subscribe and ring that bell. I will see you next time. Goodbye.